plan, so we will be doing that as soon as that comes out. We'll be doing the weekly.
Mars just said, if you don't vote, it counts as a no vote.
Yeah, you need.
My neighbors don't vote.
You get done.
No.
We have to get half plus one votes saying yes. Half plus one. So the people in here who are for this and excited about it, get to your neighbors. Talk to them. Okay, Terry, you have the microphone? Sure.
The other thing that I think we all have to consider is if this is not approved and if Rich Hardy disappears, what is it going to cost us to adequately make use of the facilities that we have? And that is strictly going to come out of all of our pockets. And whatever it turns out, it could be a continuing expense on a regular quarterly basis for whatever use of that facility is decided by the board. And that doesn't have to come for a vote. That facility cannot remain vacant. That would be an utter disaster for this community, as a town center. That is the biggest thing that should be in your mind, is to figure out if this turns out to be no and Rich Hardy disappears, what use of that building is what it's going to cost you to make that building into an amenity of some sort, and what is the continuing cost per month.
If you made it a corner building, one costs as much as making it.
Barry?
Hey, Jack?
You have the mic.
I'd like to ask one more question. Can Rich make it on, we're talking $130,000 a year, approximately, $11,000 a month. Can he make it on that over a period of 12 months, even when the summer comes along and people are left?
Let's ask him. Rich Hardy?
What was the question? I'm sorry. I have the answer to your other question.
The question was, if we pass this, will you be able to make it for the 5 years or longer?
Just on the $120 per person revenue that you're talking about? Yeah. No, obviously we couldn't make it on that, but we're counting on our marketing plan of what we're going to do. My condition, I have a plan to recoup my money. I'm going to get $50,000. Obviously I have a plan to recoup my money, on it. So no, over and above, I know that what we need each month. And right now, I need at least an additional $10,000 a month in revenue to keep it open. That's what we need.
So what happens after that?
Understand.
What I'm doing now, I know it's going to take an additional $10,000 a month.
Right.
Because it doesn't make a difference. The numbers don't change.
I'm all for it.
I just want to answer your question. Over and above what we're doing now, in order for us to be in existence, I'm putting money every month out of my pocket just to be there to the payroll. So that's where my shortfall's coming from. I'm not looking, to take money from that.
I know, I understand.
That's all.
Okay.
Remember, Joe, it's not the $10 for 1,300 people. He's got this core now, and what we have to do is add to it. So right now he's doing $18,000, $20,000 a month, and losing money. Having the rest of the people who aren't using it presently kick in, that will put him over the top. He'll be able to survive, he'll be healthy, and he'll be able to continue serving our community for many months, many years to come.
Jen, can I do a question?
Yeah.
How are you planning to market this in the next few weeks? And can we get architectural drawings that we can publicize to the residents?
I wanted to do that before, but the only way we're going to be able to do them will be to get the architect to lay it out itself. And that would mean that the board would have to stick its neck out and hire an architect, which we don't want to do. Don't want to spend the money until the community says, okay, let's go for it. I guess Rich and I could sit down with maybe an artist or someone who has architectural experience in our community and kind of like get them to visualize what we're trying to do. Not me, but the community's trying to do. And then be able to show you what it would look like, what the dream is.
Yeah, I'm not, it doesn't have to be very elaborate architectural drawings, but to give people an idea of how we envision the place to look like in terms of furniture,
Let me work on that.
decorations,
I'm good at stick figures. Real quick, please.
So I said a question. What happens to my $110 credit card if I decide I don't use it? Who has that money? The deli or the HOA?
Kelly.
The deli.
And thank you very much for your contribution. Maybe you didn't thank them. I'm sorry.
If you're going to use a card, are you going to know what you're spending, when it's going to be increased?
The patron pail is unique. When you swipe that card, it will tell you how much you spent so far, year to date, month to date. It will tell you how much you have left on your card. If he does any rewards programs or anything else, they'll be there for you. You can probably even turn around and ask them, how much do I have left? It's an amazing program. It's called Patron Pal. It's amazing.
And I have one more question. The 200 that you have, that you've got your statistics on, will they take it when it's no further here?
No, I think you're still pretty much at 200 basic people that you see every day, every other day.
It's dropped.
Yeah. Last month, but this month you did 2,000 more than you actually did last month.
Yeah. In consideration that I did a couple of parties in here, which...
Okay. Yeah, any of the parties that he caters, goes through that. And the people who have had parties catered is phenomenal. Now you can use that card for a Christmas party that you're setting up for your neighbors. Call them up and have them cater it. You can use that money for anything. It's really wonderful. Yes, ma'am.
Can I just make a comment about that? We do have other amenities here at RiverWalk.
Yes, ma'am.
That the homeowners association has to pay for maintenance,
Yes,
etc. It's coming out of our payments.
Yes, ma'am.
And whether you use it or not, everybody doesn't play tennis, everybody doesn't use the pool or the gym, but we're paying for it. Now, this isn't to me another amenity that maybe everybody doesn't want to use or for whatever reason. It is another amenity for those of us who think it's a great idea for all the reasons you mentioned. And so it's not coming out of homeowners, but it's $120 that you're not losing at all. It's in your pocket. You're getting it back. So very...
To give you an idea, we have some swimming pools. With the cost of heating it, the maintenance, and everything else, it costs us $97,000 a year. And I've never put my toe in it. But I still pay, and gladly pay, because that is part of the lifestyle that we have here.
Yeah, well, we have the aerobics, for example. I don't do aerobics. A lot of people in here don't. But we put that every month in aerobics in here. Every homeowner.
It's part of our lifestyle.
Yeah.
Part of our lifestyle, exactly. Barry's been very patient with us. Yes,
But Jack,
Well, first of all, is this on?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can say it.
It's great to see you all here.
Barry.
Yeah. It's really great to see you all here. I have really not much to add to anything everybody else has said. Certainly, I'm one that uses certain facilities here. I certainly am using the tennis courts, and of course, I just loved meeting with the guys and gals at the marketplace. It's just The food is great. The ambiance is terrific, and from the standpoint of being on the outside, the furniture has to be improved. And the only way you're going to do that is by giving him some money to get it done. And I agree certainly with what you just got finished saying about it. It's an amenity just like everything else. So for me, listening to the community over all of these years saying, you know, why can't we get just a debit card or something to get people to get into the marketplace? I mean, I said, all right, I'll put it together and see if we can't just simply say, you know, let's give some direction to the board. Well, we did that 2.5 years ago, and we did a survey of the community, and here's the problem, okay? We went out to 1,370 homes, of which we got a response from 485. Of that 485, 85% of them were very supportive. Okay, absolutely. They even gave us a list of the items and things that they would like to see in the marketplace. And here we are 2.5 years later, we still haven't done it. So for me to talk about anything more about all the benefits and how enjoyable I find the marketplace, that's kind of silly at this point. But I do want to talk to you about one thing that I learned today that I didn't put in the distribution in that email that I sent out. What happened was there's a resident, as a result of that letter, the email that I sent out, a resident here has a cousin who is the president of the Valencia Point Homeowners Association, Bill Lazarus. Their cafe is treated right from the beginning as an amenity. And it has to be maintained. And what they do is they supply them with $150,000 in the first quarter of the year. Now, they only have 700 homes. Okay, but they give it to them in the first quarter of the year, and then they dole it out $13,700 a month. That's what the association does, and it would behave just instead of using not the PayPal, whatever you call it, Patron Pal, they use another company called Mercury Pay, but it's basically the same thing. The only question is, what do they charge the association to maintain or manage that distribution? Each household there receives two $112 debit cards because they pay $225 a house for the year. And it's a transferable debit card issued through that Mercury Pay. And when it's just used like any other credit card. You know, just go in, drag it down, and it pays for it. But the point is that the operator of the cafe has working money that they can do to make things great for us. The money's going directly back into our pocket. Okay, so it's not even an expense. So what I'm saying, and what they do, they don't do it by vote. Understand what we have with our vote, the 685 votes that we need in order to pass it. So I have a plan B, which is to basically do what Valencia Point does, which is don't vote. Just make it part of our maintenance and say, look, you know, we need $130,000 a year. Pay it as a maintenance like you would for the tennis courts or the fitness center or anything else. And at the end of that time, okay, what will happen is you do it again the next year. That's the way it should work. And the idea that we are going out to a vote on every single one of these items, or whatever they are, you know, in the national election, can you imagine what we would be like? Or any election. okay, where we would need, for the election to be valid, a majority of all of the residents of the United States or the city or whatever else. I mean, it's as bizarre. What we should be doing is changing our documents that say, look, we want a majority of whoever is voting.
Give us 30 seconds. He's got to change the disc. You've done it? Go ahead.
We need you on your visual point.
Audio visual. Any other questions that you have? Yes, ma'am.
I would just like to make a comment. We were having a little sidebar conversation. I don't know of any viable community that holds a certain standard that doesn't every so many years, whether it's 10 years, whatever, doesn't invest in a little cosmetic facelift, a little refurbishing or something. And so for us to be having such a heavy conversation about something that is known to be a positive amenity for us and investing in something that we're getting back, it's not like we're putting it out and losing the money. It seems backward thinking, and I think we need to be a little more forward thinking.
I agree. Thank you. Thank you. Any further? Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Barry made point B, or a second proposal, and my question is that why are we putting ourselves in the position of trying to pass something to a vote that we all know is going to be an uphill battle if they lose it? Why aren't we considering changing the documents?
Because you'll have to change the documents, and you'll still need the 658 votes.
No, here's a problem, and I understand what Barry's saying. Understand that your board serves at the pleasure of the residents in here. All right? And the 7 of us have to make decisions financially and the direction that our community is going in. And for 7 of us to turn around and say, all of you are going to have to start paying this kind of money, I won't do it. You'll find me hanging from an oak tree. Okay? Well, you would be asking us to...
The vote is who votes.
It would be a change. It's a change in our documents. I mean, we have to live by our documents, and I would love to do it. I'm sure Rich would love to say, "Hey, just add on $120." We can't do it. We have to have the majority of the residents saying yes, and we need all of you to get out there and talk to your residents, talk to your friends, call your friends who've gone back for the summer, and get them to vote yes. We need your help. Oh, hold on, Barry. Yes, sir.
How did you make the change where you required everybody to pressure clean the roofs? I mean, you're going to have that done.
That's been in there for years that I know.
It was a change in the documents, went to a voting majority.
That was a vote of the majority.
Yeah, same thing when we went to the shared roofs, where you no longer had the HOA taking care of shared roofs. That went out there, we had street meetings, everything else, and brought people, and they passed it, and we got those votes. We've got to get the votes to pass this, and this is small, but so important to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not undoable.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a stupid question.
Oh, I've been doing stupid things all day.
Why, if people do not vote, why do you consider that a no?
Right.
When you send out make your choice. If you do not vote, we accept it as a
Yes.
yes. Right.
Yeah, the only problem is in national elections, local elections, elections for your directors, something as simple as that. We do go by the majority of the people who vote. However, in our documents, it says that if we're going to change our documents, these are the rules we must follow. We are held to them. And there's no way to get around it.
Change the documents.
We have to change the documents. Exactly. That's what we're asking you to vote on. But our documents say we have to get approval of 50% plus 1. Yes, Barry.
Well, first of all, the first thing is I would like to see somebody on the board make a motion that this become a maintenance fee that's assigned to the marketplace.
Yes.
That's number 1. Okay? Now, if you guys then turn that down for whatever reason, my next thought would be, well, if we're going to go out for a vote, why not have 2 items on the ballot? The first one is to change the ballot process. That is, so that it becomes a majority of the voters, okay, of the people who vote.
Yes.
And then the second thing is, once we get finished with counting the ballots on the first item, then we can say to the second item, well, now we've got a majority. You got the idea? So you put 2 things on the ballot, and then the cost of running the ballot, okay, it becomes less than if you're bringing two items.
Because you accomplish 2 things with 1 ballot.
Exactly.
Can we take a break over the next couple of weeks and let the board kind of mill that over rather than give you any kind of an answer or comment on it today?
See if you can do it.
It possibly could be workable, yes, sir.
What if the ballot said if you vote no, or if you vote no, instead of voting yea, if you do not want this passed, vote no. And if you don't vote no, you take it back and yes vote.
Our documents would allow us to do that. Remember, we live and breathe those. Yes, Bob?
Yeah, don't forget, we have to follow state rules. There's our state rules for condo associations, for homeowners associations.
Yep, we have to follow them.
Replying to this young lady over here. And when we all leave here, go to the cafe and buy some dinner.
We can vote on that. Any other, we can wrap this up? Yes, sir.
I thought I heard you say in the presentation that Rich Harley had also, as part of this committee, to supply somebody from gas at the front pumps.
Yeah, what's going on right now?
That's just another process.
Yeah, what's going on right now is Barry, who kind of is our gas czar. Barry is, we don't know how we're going to do this. We don't know how we're going to do this legally. We don't know how we're going to be able to do it within the confines of operating within our RiverWalk documents. But there's a group of residents who Barry has lined up already, and we're going to try to get, say roughly 14 residents who are willing to put up $1,000 each. It would cost roughly $10,500 to put 3,000 gallons of gas in there, and roughly $2,800 for the liability insurance for it. And put that up, and hopefully the HOA will turn the pumps on. And it would be run strictly credit card only, but Rich Hardy would supply the labor that we have to have according to state law to hit that button in case you have a problem out there. The thing that killed the gas pumps originally was the labor of someone standing at that front counter from 7 in the morning to 7 at night, selling a pack of cigarettes here and a candy bar there, but having to be there to punch that button. Rich Hardy already has people in there, waiting on people, selling people, running the register, taking care of things that are available if there's an emergency. But we don't have to pay for that labor. So therefore, the $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 a month profit we could make selling gas at 5 cents a gallon over what Texaco is selling it for could make that a viable thing for our community, and we could reopen the gas pumps. Then we would have gas for hurricanes. Rich would have gas or oil, or excuse me, we're not going to drink oil, we're going to drink water for the hurricanes. We would have all of that. Once the original investors are paid back, that money would go to the HOA. And the HOA would take that money, hopefully, again, this all has to be worked out, to take that money and buy a generator so that when we get hit with a hurricane, we have gas. There's so many things we can do. This is something that's being worked on. All right, and hopefully our gas czar can pull it off. Yes, ma'am.
Barry, could you address the problems if we don't open those gas pumps?
Well, I can address them real quick. If we do not get those open fairly soon, okay, the state will probably mandate us to come in and foam them. And once they're foamed, it's forever.
What would that cost? I want to be close.
Are those gas tanks working order, or do they have to be fixed?
The gas tanks themselves are good for many more years. They're a fiberglass enclosed steel, so we're not. The problems we're having with them now is at the top of the tanks. The pumps themselves to pull the gasoline out. Those have to be repaired, but that's just a regular maintenance thing. The tanks themselves are still in excellent condition. Yes, sir.
Before you leave, they could just take a straw poll of people here that be willing to put up $120 for a $120 credit at the store.
That's a great idea. All those in favor of spending $120 a year in there, I love every one of you. I love. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I said, we have the right up what the negative would mean for the gas tanks to be.
What the negative?
How much does it cost to foam the gas?
Jeff would probably be able to answer that. We're talking around $25,000 to foam the tanks and the lines and remove the pumps. I'm trying to remember.
I have to open my file there.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it was.
This is, if we don't activate the pumps, we have to pay for it to be closed down.
Yes, ma'am.
And by the way, we currently have a commitment pledges for $9,000, and that's just for a few people, and as a result of that one letter that went out, one email. So,
any of you want to get involved?
It's now $10,000. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what Captain, you say she's giving us 2 months to make this.
Yes.
So, again, how are we doing this?
Right now, Bert is working with our attorney, putting together the language that has to go into the change of documents. Once we get that, letters will be sent out to every single homeowner in RiverWalk, whether they are here now or whether or not they're back up north. Well, then we wait. We wait patiently for them to answer, either in the negative or in the positive. Meanwhile,
Jack, you know it's never going to happen in 2 months.
Well,
it took us many months to get the documents revised.
Well, it took around 2 months. 2 months to do the.
It's going to be at least a month before you send the letters out. It's giving you a month to collect them.
I'm sure Rich will work with us. But meanwhile, we've got the real estate people, especially Jane's office, is going to be contacting the majority of the snowbirds and pleading with them directly. Joe has also said that he'll do the same thing. Plead with them. Please vote for this. You have no idea how important this is. Meanwhile, contact your friends that are back up in Syracuse, New York, or wherever they're from.
Glenn has something to say that has nothing to do with that.
Folks, please indulge me because this could have a serious impact on every single one of us financially. It's something I learned this weekend and confirmed by phone today with the county. Give me a couple of minutes and you're going to be very upset. As you know, there's been a lot of flooding in this country all around. You can even see some of the damage on our own lakes because of the water problems we have. There's been a lot of flooding with Sandy in the Midwest, etc. Contrary to what you hear and may have heard on the news, FEMA's reserves are in billions in debt. The reserves are completely gone. So last year, a little known to all of us, Congress passed the Bigot Waters Act, which is designed to restore FEMA's flooding reserves. Well, we in RiverWalk, we're not in the special flood hazard area, so, but we were in 1994. However, due to the efforts of Mr. DeVoster and the city government under Mayor Graham, we got this letter of map revision which took RiverWalk out of the flood area. Well, this month, the Army Corps of Engineers and FEMA are going to be releasing new flood maps. The county, a couple of weeks ago, got a 10-minute look at the maps. They're going to get them later this month, I don't know what date. But the county confirmed that in their quick look, it looks like most of Palm Beach County, including most of RiverWalk, is going to be put back in the special water hazard area category. Now, they made a lot of mistakes in those maps that the county was able to see. For example, they left out all the millions of dollars that the city and the county has put in terms of controls in the past 10 years, and they assumed that, get this,
the Corps of Engineers assumed that in case of the flood, the Water Management District's going to close all the gates and hold the water back, which is, of course, not true. The gates are open right now. They're dumping water in anticipation of rain. In any event, what does it mean for us? It means that every home in RiverWalk, if we are put back into a special water hazard area, will probably have to buy flood insurance. Right now, we don't have to. Some people do. It costs in the $300 range. Under the Bigot Act, that will go to a little over $1,000 a year if this is your primary home. If it's your secondary home, it will be several times that amount. Wow. In addition to which, the Bigot Act says that there must be a 20% increase in the flood insurance every year for 5 years in order to replenish the reserves. In addition to that, the Act says that there has to be a 5.3% added, specifically earmarked for the reserves. I don't know what the rest of it's for, but there's 5.3% on top of your, let's say it's $1,000, 5.3% on top of that. And on top of that, there's a 10% charge for government operation and processing this. Those of you who have here secondary homes, and the HOA will be treated as commercial properties, and therefore your increase will be significantly, many times that amount. Well, what can we do? First of all, don't panic, because we haven't really seen the maps except for 10 minutes. We will see them later this month. As soon as the county gets them, I will get them. In the meantime, we can all pray for a miracle that the Corps woke up and saw that their mistakes and corrected it. What can we do if we are put back in a special water hazard area? Now, all of us as homeowners can't do this. It would be too expensive. We would have, depending upon who you talk to, between 3 and 6 months to correct this problem. It would behoove the HOA to take on this responsibility in conjunction with the government. What the HOA should do immediately is find the data that was used to get this letter of map revision, and may I suggest we appoint Miles to do that, because he has this fantastic ability of being able to worm out documents that the government can't find. Secondly, we need to document the elevation above sea level of every home in RiverWalk. We need to document the highest level that our lakes have ever risen, which was probably in 1999. And we have to have proof, which we can get from insurance carriers, that no home has ever flooded due to rising water, not water through the roof.
Taking from us
Well, that will have nothing to do with it. If you were here in '99, you know as much as the county and city were taking then, Mother Nature was giving back a lot more, and the waters came up pretty high. So as soon as I get the maps and see what they say, I will notify the board, but I think we ought to all be prepared. If it happens as bad as it looks now, we're going to have to get together with all of our neighbors in all the communities around here and raise such a big stink with the Army Corps of Engineers when they have a public hearing, which would probably be within 30 days. So be prepared. You're under the Bigot Act, you cannot self-insure. You must take flood insurance. All of us must take flood insurance. So keep your fingers crossed. I'll let you know, but I wanted you to be aware at this point, and I'd like the HOA to start getting data together.
Thank you very much for coming. Get out there, talk to your